Hello, and welcome to Compelled to Act, where we do things unscripted, unedited, and off the cuff. This is us looking at part two of the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz CNN interview. So let's jump right on into it.
Okay. Another issue, big one, is immigration. As vice president, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries and
Northern part of Central America.
the northern
in
part
particular, yeah.
of Central America that affects the southern border of the U.S. During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock, and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to
Not
ask
only
about
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
just one other.
You didn't address why it took you 3.5 years to do anything. And then you blame Boogeyman Trump for the bill not passing when the real reason the bill didn't pass is because it just took the messed up stuff you were doing by allowing these entries and made it law. That's the big reason it did not pass. There was good stuff in the bill. Don't get me wrong. There was good stuff in there, but the bad stuff was so bad it was unacceptable. It was not ever going to pass. Just never. And what about that? What's stopping you from seizing fentanyl right now? Are you trying to suggest that you just saw a truckload of fentanyl and you went, "Oh, darn it, the current laws don't let us deal with that." Um, right? And if you're getting it under control right now on a whim, why did we need a bill? Because literally all you have to do is enforce the laws we already have. But you guys have purposely ignored them while, again, while what have we heard over the past 3 years? The border's great. The border's great. There's no problem down there. So how are you saying there's a problem now and that we had to fix something when there was never a problem there? The double talk and the mental gymnastics are insane. Like, why would anybody ever believe anything you say? Like she said, the border patrol supported the bill. Just because she said it, I doubted it. Right? I doubted it, but it's true. So there's ABC News reports the Border Patrol Union backs Senate immigration bill despite House GOP opposition. Now, what did he say? This is better than what we currently have. Well, yeah, because you've basically been told don't stop anything, just process them through. Right? And then he concludes, he says some things like, yes, this will help, this would be nice, which, hey, any union guy, if it gets more money and more people into whatever you're the head of the union for, you're going to support it, because why wouldn't you? Right? But he also concludes, while supportive of the new compromise agreement, he also says he backs more restrictive measures. So again, it's this big important bill, but it still comes up short. Even at its best, it still comes up short. So, and like I say, how relevant is it if all you could just at a whim say we're enforcing the law and the problem goes away? And did you also notice that the root cause thing? She said she only mentions Central America. It's the northern countries of Central America. Well, she was specifically tasked with the Northern Triangle, first and foremost, and Mexico. She didn't mention Mexico when she talked about it, and that was her job. So does she not even know what areas she was responsible for? Of course, they did mention other countries too outside of that, but we're only going to look at this little itty bitty slice here. And it took American companies investing in the area to make people want to stay. You know how you get people to quit coming? You don't let them in, right? If all they're going to do is make this huge trip to our border and then be bounced back, they'll stop. It'll stop. Easy as that. We don't have to invest in other countries. We don't have to build up other places and make them better while simultaneously making ourselves worse so it's less desirable to want to come here. No.
Another question about something that you said in 2019 when you first ran. There was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America, and by extension the globe, around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. In 4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the aspects to your point is traveling the country extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia, I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus, and it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note, you had
So I let two sections go there. We'll go back to, did you see how smug she got when I'm the only candidate that's prosecuted this stuff? Yeah, because you're a prosecutor. That comes with the territory. What have you done as VP other than send our money other places? Right? And then her values have not changed. Sure, she tells you one thing and then does another. She flip flops all over the place, but her values are still the same. So it's because you have no values. Your only value is gaslighting the American people for votes. That is the only value she has. She spent 3.5 years doing nothing, and now all of a sudden, all of these things are an issue because she has to explain why you need to vote for her. That's the only thing. And then once she gets your vote, she'll go right back to whatever she was doing. And did you notice she completely sidestepped the decriminalizing illegal crossings by saying we should follow the law? Yeah. The question is, do you still think you should change the law to make illegal aliens not illegal? I have to believe the answer is yes, since you sidestepped it so heavily.
Had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone
Yes,
in mind?
I would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this election, so I'm not putting the cart before the horse. But I would. I think it's really important. I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
I have no idea why this little edit cutaway is here. They must have really had to cut footage to put this all together. But oh yay, a Republican in your cabinet. Yeah, it'll be a rhino. It'll be a Liz Cheney goes back to the Republicans, or maybe oh geez, like a Lindsey Graham, or maybe a Kevin McCarthy, right? It's not going to be a difference of opinion. It'll be a difference of party, but she's not going to invite anybody with a different opinion. There's no way. There's no way.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Same old tired playbook. Wait, that's the first time I've ever seen one person, or let's call Donald Trump a politician, even though he's really not. And that's the nice thing about him. That's the first time I've ever, that I can recall, seen one politician question another person in that way. So I don't see how it's the same old, same old. That was very new. And it's very accurate. Until it became advantageous for her to do so, she never talked about her black heritage. She never talked about black culture in a meaningful way or participated in it. It's only, again, that's her value. Votes. Give me a vote. Give me a vote. Give me a vote. What can I do to get your vote? Oh, I'm black now. Yep. Very black. Absolutely black. Of course, nobody's ever mentioned that when in all of the first woman blah 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 accomplishments in my lifetime. Nobody's ever called me black because I never pushed that out there until the magic day where I said, you know what, that will get me votes now. Again, no values, no values.
Let's talk about some foreign policy issues that would be on your plate if you become commander in chief. President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. He's been doing it for months and months, along with you. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But let's take a step back. October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
In the meantime,
and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
but no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region, a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. I remain committed since I've been on October 8 to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution, where Israel is secure and in equal measure, the Palestinians have security and self-determination and dignity.
Okay, so that is the end of part two, and let's address what she said there. She is always going to support Israel's ability to defend itself. Okay. Israel's not currently defending itself, it is on the offensive. And why do we keep calling this a war? I'm only seeing one side act anymore. We're coming up on almost a year since that happened, since the 7th attack, or the attack on the 7th happened. And I don't know what you guys have seen, but it sure looks to me like Israel is destroying, leveling every inch of Gaza. And then she mentions a two-state solution. Gaza is separate from Israel right now. They have the ability to have their own independence. They might not be recognized, let's say, globally as a country, but they have leadership. Unfortunately, that leadership that they voted in, I guess, is Hamas. So we're in a situation where you're literally trying to negotiate with terrorists. Now, she did mention that she visited with the families, and I was very leery of that claim. But here it is, reported by CBS News. Vice President Kamala Harris meets with families of hostages held by Hamas. And this was April 9th, 2024. And it starts off in a way that's very misleading. And it says Vice President Kamala Harris on Tuesday met with families of hostages believed to be held by Hamas. And so that made it sound like 6 months later she finally met with them because she's so concerned. And, that's not a good look. But further down here, they hide it. And again, you got to give credit where credit is due. Otherwise, what's the point? It does say the vice president also met with the families in late October. Okay, that's much better than 6 months later. But again, you guys have been in power. What are we doing? You're not going to limit weapons to Israel, so they're not going to slow down because we're supplying them their arms. And again, if you say a two-state solution, Israel used to occupy Gaza, and they withdrew, and they let the Gazan people run their own place. And where we're at now is what the result of that was. I don't think it's better. I don't think it's better at all. And again, I would not call it a war. I mean, at this point, the people claiming genocide are becoming more and more right every day. Because that's how I'm starting to see this. You know, hey, if you went in and hit some strategic targets and did some things, I would understand. But this has been going on for a long time. Like, it's getting out of hand. So anyways, there we go. That is part 2 in the books. As always, thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I hope you have a great day.